Right. So now that we have the Google My Business listing set up, we have the basic information in there. We've started the verification process. There's really, two things that I wanted to, two remaining things that I wanted to cover in order to get your profile, claimed, set up, and at least started in terms of the optimization of it. I think the posting and the updates and things like that. That's kind of the management side of the Google My Business listing. But this is really the setup and the optimization, initial optimization of the profile. So the two main things that are left are number one is the photos. And they're, Google loves photos, love posts, and they love photos and media content in general. I would say outside of Google by itself, just taking the optimization side out of it, there is a lot of stats out there, and I don't have one off the top of my head, but essentially, people are more prone to click through and actually visit sites when they see a search result or the map search results with businesses with photos, and that's especially true about the team members and at the office and things like that. And I think the main reason for that is that it builds a lot of credibility, and it creates a lot of connection with the customers. So actually having a lot of media up there and videos and things that you can add is definitely worthwhile to do. At the very least, so we're going to navigate over to photos, and I'll kind of show you the platform where you could put these things in here. Once again, just to kind of remind you, this is, don't let this scare you, the verification thing. So pretty much everything that we have done and we continue to do until you verify your business, Google is going to save it. They're just not going to publish the information and the pictures and stuff until you get that postcard and you come back in here and verify it. So don't get scared off by this. Just know what that is, and just know that your stuff, if you're looking on the search results or whatever, or the map results to see the information that you put in, just be aware that it's not going to show up until you actually verify the business. But once you do verify the business, it will be like magic, right? It will pop up and Google will publish it. So it will be there. Nothing that we're doing is a waste of time at this point. It's kind of like the upfront work. So once you're verified, everything will publish. But if you come in here, so from your main page, your home page, you'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see photos. So if you click photos, it kind of gives you an overview of the different media that you've updated or uploaded into your GMB account. So this is kind of like an overview. Videos that you uploaded at work, I believe, is like the office and things like that. And then the team is like your employees and yourself and other team members, etc. And then at least to get going, the ones that I find absolutely critical are the identity. So if you click on identity, there's two there. One is cover and the other is logo. So these are ones that are going to show, I believe they show on the website, which we'll talk about in the next video. And then the logo is one that's going to show on all the search results, etc. These, in terms of branding and credibility, in terms of the legitimacy of your business, etc., are obviously critical, as you want those to be consistent across all of your platforms and your social presence. So you want to make sure that you put these in here in something that resembles your business as a brand, and make sure that your branding is consistent across all of these things that you're doing. So the first one that we'll do is a logo. And obviously for this, you need to have a logo, but there's several programs out there that you can use to create one if you don't. If you do have one, or if you're creating one, essentially it's not the typical photo size or image size that you would think of with a logo that would be like 100 by 400 or 60 by 250 or whatever it is in rectangular form. What Google is looking for here, and we'll put this in the notes as well, is a square. So it's almost like I believe for the McCall one, is we took the favicon and kind of blew it up. So it's almost like a square version of your logo. So what they recommend is 720 by 720 as a minimum resolution. So if you're creating a logo, I would recommend if you don't have one, or if you have a rectangular one, but it doesn't fit into that square size, you can go to, have one made by a graphic designer. That's obviously one option. If you want something and you have some graphic design skills, you can go into a program like Canva or Illustrator or whatever it happens to be, and create something as a square. So for this one, you'd want to do like a 720 by 720, or anything a little bit smaller, a little bit larger. But Google recommends 720 by 720 is, and that's in pixels, is the minimum size that you'd want to put in there in terms of the resolution. So you would just essentially come in here to set your logo, and we can go from the process again. So you go to Photos, Identity, and then Logo, and then you would select the photo from your computer. So again, you want a square logo, and I can show you the one that we use for the macaw, and this is, you can see some of these. So you'll see it gets tagged as the logo itself. So this is a square version, and obviously this is not this is the one we use for the cover, but you'll see like this is our traditional logo that we use is the Macaw Digital cutout, and then on the Google one, this is actually what they'll use, and it fits a little bit better into the search results, the map results. I'm sorry, it's a little bit cleaner than having that rectangle, so that's why they're looking for that. So for your logo, you want to have something that's a square, representative of your brand, in square form. So if you have only a rectangle one, you'll have to have a square created. And if you have, a square that's very, very tiny, say it's the one that you have for the favicon, you'll have to expand that out. As I said before, for the logo, you're looking for 720 by 720 as a minimum resolution. And I believe ours was a little bit smaller than that. So as long as it's close to that, you should be fine. But you want to make sure that the resolution is crisp and clear on it. So that's the first main one that you want to put on. And then the second one is the cover. So the cover is something I believe is going to get shown on the website down here when you create that, but it's also the cover photo for your actual GMB listing. So the cover photo that we use, and again I could show you for the one that we use for Macaw, is this, and it doesn't have to be, it could be just an image with your logo on it. We put the company name on here with kind of the tagline, and then the selling pitch, etc. And then just an image on the side. Again, it really depends on what you have in terms of images and graphics and things of that nature. Again, you can go into a program like Canva and create something pretty easily. But if you don't have something, you can use something like Canva to create something, and that's canva.com. That's canva.com. And you can go in there and you can plug in the resolution as 1080 by 608 is what we used, and it worked very well. Um, and then you would basically create that. It's a little tough with the GMB images and such, because they don't actually give you a resolution to use. You're gonna have to do a Google search. So that's why I'm trying to give you the information for it. So for the logo, it's 720 by 720 pixels. And then for the cover, we use 1080 by 608. And I believe, depending on the source that you look, and you can Google this as well, those are a good basis to start. If you want to tweak it a little bit, certainly feel free to. It's up to you, and just make sure when you upload it, you'll have to go and kind of preview it and make sure that it looks good. Um, and then the other ones too. So those are the two most important in terms of optimizing and completing your profile to start. Team is discover more about your business. That's great. So if you, as an owner, like, I'm sorry to keep going back to this, but again, like for the team photos, just right now, I have myself in there. So if you have other employees that work for your company, you can put your your employees' pictures in there. You can put your team members' pictures in there. If you have like partners or something that you want to represent your business, you could put them in there as well. At work, good examples would be like inside the office. If you have a restaurant, would be great to kind of put pictures of your restaurant in there. Inside your offices, if you want to show your office, or inside a dentist or doctor office, or whatever it happens to be inside of a store, and just kind of put those pictures up there. What I would recommend is not doing that all at one time, and obviously putting as much stuff as you possibly can, and but not doing it all at once, right? So you want to kind of space these things out. And if you do the video, the learning video series with the post strategy and stuff like that, we'll say the same thing. You don't want to post 50 things at once, and it's the same thing with blogs and website content, etc. You want to make sure that you're kind of spacing it out. Google likes to see content created on a pretty consistent but longevity type of situation. So you're not just posting everything at once; you're kind of posting it slowly over time. That's why I'm saying for this immediate setup and optimization step, the cover photo is important and the logo photo is important. And then I would stick, maybe 2 to 3 more photos in there just to make your profile look more complete. But that's pretty much it for photos. Any of the other ones that you're putting in, I guess two more key things. So for any of the other ones that you're putting in, like the at work, the team, video is obviously its own thing. If you have some marketing videos, definitely pop those in there. If you want to create a quick video kind of introducing who you are as a company, and kind of overviewing what you do as a company or what services you provide, that's a great way to get some visual introduction to your customers, etc. And I would definitely recommend putting those in. But for any of the other photos outside of the logo or the cover, the recommendation from Google is 720. Oh, excuse me. 720 pixels by 720 pixels is a good resolution to kind of put in there, and then from there. If those are pretty much the resolution that you're using, those should come out good in terms of what they look like on your profile. The last thing I would say is, and you'll hear this a lot with search engine optimization and other things in general, but the file names that you're using, I guess two things with it. The file name that you're using, you want to make sure that it's actually descriptive of what the actual photo is. So I'm not sure if you can see on here. I don't think it tells you. No, it doesn't. Okay, so like for this one, this is my lovely face. I would put in here my name, maybe like Dan Soreo or just Dan Soreo, Macaw Digital Marketing. And then for the other one, we put in here like, Macaw Digital Marketing, Cape Coral, Florida. You want something that is descriptive. You'll see a lot that people will put in photos, and this happens when you take it from like your iPhone, or even when you're doing things like creating images and graphics on websites like Canva. It will come up with a generic file name. So essentially what you want to do is you'll want to change that file name to something that is descriptive and talks about what the actual picture represents. And then also if there is a way to kind of fit the keyword or the prime category that you use to set up the account, you definitely want to have that included as well. Even if it's just the business name, it could be name of your business inside of our office, or offices in X and X a city and state, etc. But you just definitely don't want to put the generic file name in there where it's photo 23 in 4:10 p.m. July 31st, or whatever the file name that it spits out. You want to make sure that you have a description that talks about what's in the photo, number one. Number two, if possible, gets a couple keywords in there, or at least one keyword. And if you don't have anything that kind of matches that, at least the description of what the photo is about, and then maybe the company name or something to tie it to some type of SEO value, versus just having um, the generic name that pops out of it. And it's hard to, and I apologize, it's kind of hard to talk about it in general terms if we had a specific photo that we could look at. But to go back to maybe one of these examples, this might be, again, Dan Soreo of Macaw Digital Marketing versus, photo 23, July 31st of, in 2020 or whatever it happens to be. Even this one, you could put, Macaw or Colorful Macaw, Macaw Digital Marketing, Cape Coral, Florida, or whatever you want to kind of pop up for. Definitely, you want to make sure that you're putting those descriptions in there versus just the generic names. So that's it, I think, for now. Two key takeaways on this are number one, you want to make sure that for photos, in terms of setting up your account and at least initially optimizing it, you want to make sure that you're putting a cover photo in there. And that cover photo, again, the one that we used was 1080 by 608. Again, 1080 by 608. And the logo was 720 by 720, at least is the minimum resolution for that. And it will actually trick it down a little bit, but that's the resolution that Google wants to see. So those are the two main important ones. And then maybe if you want to go in there and stick, one for at work, one for team, and then a couple other ones. Just again, don't pop them in there all at once. You want to make sure that you're kind of slowly feeding them into your GMB account over time. Again, we'll talk about that with the post as well, but it's consistent, constant content over time versus everything at once and then don't touch it for 2 years. So that's probably a pretty good place to end with the photos. So again, just make sure that you're getting the cover photo on there, the logo photo on there, a couple other ones. If you have some videos, maybe pop a video on there to get going. And then over time, you can kind of come back and slowly pop them in there and fill that in. The more pictures and the more media you can put into your GMB account. Again, I think Google loves that. It likes to see that. And then number two, the customers really engage with it well. And you'll notice like a lot of views on the photos and the videos and you'll get more recognition and the customers are more likely to kind of click through on your listing versus if you have just the name of your company and no content there at all. So, and that's it. And then the last video, we'll talk about the website. And then I think from there, you'll be in a pretty good spot. And then really from after that point, it's really just about, managing it and consistently putting content on there, understanding what kind of content to put. And then, that will be a separate video series, unfortunately, but this is really just about setting up and optimizing your GMB account, making sure that you exist on GMB, so you can show up in the search results, in the map results and things like that. It's really about what you do after that will help you optimize and show up in that local pack, etc. So that really is a separate topic. But I think for now, next video we'll cover the website, and then from there, if you guys want to find out how to optimize it further, that's great. If not, then at least you'll be in a good spot where your GMB account is set up. You'll have a presence online and you can get found. So I'll talk to you guys next video.